Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And yes, Come To Us has released the Dark Hall of Heroes monsters, and they are saying pumpkins for everybody. So we should enjoy it because there's a couple places that we can use Dusky. Okay, the Dark Pumpkin. So let's go ahead. We're going to talk about the skills. We're going to talk about the runes, where it might be used and things like that, etc. What teams to run it with. So let's get right into it here. I'm just going to pull up the monster itself so that way we can see exactly like the skills and everything else. So pulling it up though, first off, it awakens into a resistance leader skill for 40% in dungeons. Who cares? Okay, you're not going to use that leader skill. There's really no situation that you would need Dusky in a dungeon with resistance. So just forget about that. Forget about the leader skill. Don't use it. It's not worth it. Okay, moving on though. Moving on to the actual skill set. I'll go through the skills first and then we'll talk about where you can use them. So he has a passive. This is called Knight's Comfort. And if the enemy ends... No, just kidding. If the turn ends without attacking an enemy, a shield that is proportionate to your level and lasts for 3 turns is generated. While having the shield, all damage you deal is increased by 50%. I don't know why Come To Us writes messages like this, writes descriptions like this, because it's really hard to follow. A shield that is proportionate to your level and lasts for 3 turns is generated. That is the dumbest, okay. I'm just moving on from that. We'll set that aside for right now. So, what does that mean? If you don't attack, right? So you're thinking, okay, well, when am I not going to attack? Well, it works because he's got a passive skill, a buff skill that increases the attack speed and critical rate of all allies for 2 turns. So when you use this buff skill, you also get a shield on yourself, and then you deal 50% more damage when you have that shield on because it lasts for 3 turns, and you can pretty much just cycle it back and forth, and as long as you're not getting hit, as long as you keep the shield, you'll still do more damage, but most of the time you're going to lose that shield pretty quickly. Okay? Pretty quickly. Now, the first skill, this is when you're actually attacking the monster. This is when you're not proccing your passive at all. This attacks the enemy 3 times. Each attack has a 30% chance to decrease the enemy's attack speed for 2 turns. This attack will deal more damage according to your attack speed. So more damage according to your attack speed. I'm already thinking one way for it, but the increased damage according to your attack speed may not necessarily do very good in the situation that I'm thinking of. So if you guys are on the same page as me, you're probably thinking that this is a good monster for Necro B10. And I would say that's the only place that this monster is really good at, because I can't think of another place that we would use Dusky. This is the only one. This is the only use for Dusky is Necro B10. But it's not a bad monster for Necro B10 because it's got a couple things that help it out. So you have 3 turns or 3 attacks with skill 1. That means you're taking 3 points of the shield down. So pretty cool there, right? And then you also have a chance to decrease the attack speed, which makes the boss slower, which makes you guys faster, gain turns faster that way, because the buffs actually do make a difference depending on whether it's a debuff by speed or an increased speed buff on your team, which he also has on his second skill. Don't forget, increases the attack speed and critical rate of all allies for 2 turns. The critical rate is just a bonus anyway. So you have these 2 skills that are pretty relevant for Necro B10. Now, don't forget that Chilling has the same first 2 skills. However, Chilling has a passive that steals a beneficial effect, which there's no beneficial effects really being had on the boss in Necro B10. So I would say overall that Dusky is a better option than Chilling, because you might get this little shield here. You might get a little bit more damage in there. And yeah, so Dusky greater than this way, Chilling. So if Dusky is greater than Chilling, how do we rune it for Necro B10? Well, Dusky now gives you an option to have your Chilling be either faster or runes completely different if you want to use it for DB10, GB10, RTA, whatever else. It just gives you more options, because that's actually, if you guys remember the Ran HOH that came out, I was actually super happy to have the Ran HOH, mainly because of my Hua. I wanted to rune my Hua a certain way for a different dungeon than I had it runed for Necro. Okay, because I don't want the speed. I want it to move last. There's a lot of things that go into it. So this just frees up your chilling that you can use it elsewhere. Basically is what it is. So it's kind of nice. But let's talk about the runes and how we would want to be runing it to optimize it for Necro B10. I would say there's basically just one build that I would really say would work best for it, and that would be attack crit damage HP or HP crit damage attack, whatever one you want to do, because it's just going to provide that sustainability that you would probably need, and you're going to also get the extra damage from that shield you're going to have anyway. So you can build it attack crit damage attack if you want to. Just keep in mind, if you start dying a little bit, you don't have the sustainability that you're hoping for, just go ahead and throw HP on there and see if it makes a difference. So you can go either way, but try to have like 80-85% crit rate, and then the rest throw into attack, crit damage, and whatever other stats. Just don't really need to worry about speed too much. That's about it. So as far as the rune sets, though, you can run basically two different sets. The main thing is Violent would be one good option. Violent Revenge is an even better option than just Violent. And then you have Triple Revenge, which can kind of go back and forth. Some people like the Triple Revenge. Some people like the Violent Revenge better. It's really just based on what runes you have available for that monster. So that way you don't have to use your best runes on a dungeon monster. Because if you can run the dungeons up to Necro B10 pretty easily, pretty automatically, I would say start trying to shift some of those runes that you've been putting all your best runes onto your dungeon teams onto like better monsters that you can use for arena, guild wars, and the PvP content that's out there now. So that's mainly just the review of Dusky. There's really nothing too exciting. It's just another Necro B10 monster. If you guys have any other builds or suggestions or places that you think in the game that you can use Dusky that's legitimate and like really good aside from Necro, go ahead and post it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. And if you like this video, if it helped you out in any way, go ahead and hit subscribe to join the soup. And as always, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. What's going on, soup? It's Claytano. Be sure to subscribe for more content every single day. If you missed yesterday's video, you can check it out here and subscribe to my vlog channel for behind the scenes footage of my life. If you want to stay connected with me personally, go ahead and hit me up on any social media platform at Claytano, and I will see you guys tomorrow.